What's up, Facebook? What's up, Instagram? I hope you're having a fantastic day and wonderful start to your week. Wow. I'm getting pretty good at timing when Facebook and Instagram both come on live. Facebook, Instagram, I'm getting close. That's like 1 in every 10 I get them timed perfectly. If that one was close, I'll continue to get better. This evening, we are talking about a topic that I've had a lot of discussion about in the past few weeks. More frequent than usual with my one-on-one clients and potential one-on-one client inquiries, which is related to, is one type of diet better than the other? Or, hey, Paul, I don't think this is working for me. This diet or this approach isn't working for me. Can you elaborate here? My answer is gladly. The reason that there are so many different types of diets is because that they all, at the end of the day, absolutely work. I mean, you're going to find dozens, if not hundreds of diets if you scan through back the last 30, 40, maybe even 50 years. Right now, the primary dieting routes include the ketogenic diet, the Whole30 diet, Atkins diet was very popular many moons ago, still prominent today, the South Beach diet, Weight Watchers, Jenny Craig, the RP diet, the this diet, the juice diet, the that diet, the cleanse diet, the ABC, all the way through Z diet. All these diets exist. Yeah, probably because that person wants to make a lot of money or at least try to make some money. But at the end of the day, they do have a substantial following and they've been around for a long time because they do in fact work. And the reason that all of these diets work is because they have one major thing in common. And that major thing they have in common is that at the end of the day, they all put each individual person who abides by that diet into a calorie deficit. That is the one driving factor that is absolutely necessary to drive weight loss. You are not going to lose weight if you are in a calorie surplus. So that means if you're eating more calories than you are burning throughout the day, you're not going to lose weight. And what all these diets do is put you into a calorie deficit via, multiple methods. Some of them have you completely restrict food or food groups. Others take a more moderate and sustainable approach, which is what we're going for. But I digress. That's for a different day. And the fact is, they, one way, shape, or another, put you in a calorie deficit to initiate weight loss. Again, that's what all of these dozens of diets have in common. So when I get questions about, hey, Paul, this diet's not working for me, this is what's worked for me in the past. One question I get quite frequently for whatever reason is, hey, Paul, I used to do the WAG diet, and this is what happened when I did it, a year or 2 years ago, and right now I am not losing weight. Well, the reason, the diet a year or 2 years ago may have worked is because you were, in fact, in a significant calorie deficit, which is absolutely going to drive weight loss. Whereas maybe right now you're not in a calorie deficit, or for instance, let's say, this is a pretty common example. Let's say 2 years ago, you weighed 160 pounds, you were eating 2,000 calories per day, and that was your baseline maintenance intake. Well, you dropped down to 1,500 calories per day, and voila, it's like the weight melted off. Well, fast forward to now, instead of being 160 pounds, let's say you're 135 pounds. You've just kicked ass the last 2 years, and you continue to eat that 1,500 calorie a day diet. Well, your maintenance or your baseline calorie intake per day has dropped significantly to align with your new baseline or your new current body weight. You're 25 pounds lighter, which means you have probably a 300, maybe 400 calorie reduction in the number of calories you need to maintain your weight. So what was once a 500 calorie deficit may only be a 100 calorie deficit or no calorie deficit at all. Thus, you're seeing paltry and slow progress on the scale. Now, it's quite an extreme example for many. I understand that, but it does paint the picture that, a calorie deficit is absolutely necessary to drive weight loss. So when it seems like one diet you tried in the past may have been successful, it's because you were absolutely in a calorie deficit. What happened between that successful diet and now? Well, who knows? Probably a million different things, and maybe some good things, maybe some bad things, but the chances are the number of calories you need to maintain your weight is no longer the same number of calories you needed to maintain your weight 1, 2, 3, maybe even 4 years ago. Hell, maybe even 3 months ago during the end of your last successful diet. So you need to keep that in mind, that whether you choose the ketogenic diet, the Whole30, the RP diet, the if it fits your macros, the McDonald's diet, the A diet, the vegetarian diet, you get the gist. Regardless, you need to be in a calorie deficit. If something you're doing right now is not working, A, it's because you're not in a calorie deficit, and B, it's because you're not sticking to it, which is therefore removing that calorie deficit because you're eating more food than you should have, or that you should rather. And with that said, you have to then take a step back and acknowledge, okay, I'm not losing weight, and if it's because I'm not sticking to my plan, well, maybe the diet you chose is simply not sustainable and not for you. That can actually be a major reason why diets don't work, is that it's not sustainable, it's not congruent with your lifestyle and how your daily eating habits shape at the end of the day. So with that said, there are some diet types that are better than others for you. For instance, if you love carbohydrates, do not, oh, Jim, I appreciate the love and the kind words. Great to hear from you too. If you love carbohydrates, the ketogenic diet is not for you. It's a very high fat, very, very minimal carbohydrate diet. So therefore, if you're trying the ketogenic diet and you put yourself in a calorie deficit, but you go on a weekend carbohydrate binge, well, adios calorie deficit. No wonder you didn't lose any weight. At the end of the day, I kind of went off on a tangent. Let me bring it back now. At the end of the day, you need to be in a calorie deficit. You can get there with dozens of different diets. Find one that allows you to stick to those guidelines per se, to still live your life and live a healthy, a balanced life, still being able to enjoy time with family and friends, dining out, foods you enjoy. And hey, at the end of the day, if you really want to lose weight, you gotta knock some calories off day after day, week after week. Significant, sustainable weight loss takes time. Make the necessary change to your routine, stay patient, stay diligent, plan ahead. And at the end of the day, I think you'll see that a little consistency goes a very long way. Questions, comments, concerns, comment below. Send me a direct message Instagram. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of your evening. Have a wonderful Valentine's Day tomorrow night. We'll be back live on Thursday of this week, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. I'll see you then.